Part 3 of building a professional pedal board from start to finish is going to focus on building a patch bay, why this might be a useful thing for you to have on your own pedal board, and how we can actually go through and design something like this. You might recognize what this is. It's actually just a blank light switch cover. It's finished in stainless steel and it matches perfectly in size and in color to the Waggy 28-inch pedal board that I'm using. If you've got the 20-inch version or the 34-inch version, which I had a couple months ago, this will actually fit perfectly on there as well. You can find those pedal boards at zounds.com. So what is going on this patch bay? First of all, on the bottom left, we're going to have an IEC input. This is a power supply input for the Chuck's DC7 and C8E, which I'm using to power the entire pedal board. An IEC input is what you might find on the back of a guitar amplifier, pedalboard power supplies, obviously, computer towers, TVs. It's a very common input. So even if I forget my IEC cable, it's probably guaranteed that someone at that venue has got a spare one somewhere. Next to the power input, we're going to have a 5-volt USB power output. And that is going to be mounted here with a Switchcraft jack. This is about $15, this little part. This patch bay, the price of it can add up quick, but it'll be worth it to have easy access to that kind of stuff. The Chuck's power supplies actually outputs a USB 5-volt output, so I thought I'd wire it up here, and I can use that to charge a phone, a tablet I might be reading music off of, or to actually power a little light that can hang over my pedal board on a dark stage to make it a little bit easier to see it. There's a lot of things you can do with that USB power, so I just thought I'd throw it on there since I had it. Then above, we're going to have 2 more USB outputs. And these are going to be to interface with the Morningstar MC8 MIDI controller and the Line 6 HX Stomp. They're much easier to edit from your computer than they are on the actual device. So in the case that I need to make an edit on the fly, it'll be great to have easy access to those USB ports when otherwise they will be buried inside the pedal board. Then lastly, we have a series of TRS and TS locking jacks, also made by Switchcraft. They've got a little locking mechanism on there, so once you insert that, it's not going to come out if someone steps on it. You have to press this little tab and then it comes out. So on the top, we're going to have 2 TRS outputs. The first one is going to be for the HX Stomp's headphone output. This is the last pedal in my signal chain, so if I need to practice with a set of headphones, that's an easy way to do so. The other TRS jack will not be wired up as of yet. However, something that it could be used for in the future would be an effects send and return from an amplifier. I've done that on a previous pedalboard build. Or you could use it to send an analog impulse, which will trigger a tube amplifier to change the reverb, tremolo, or the overdrive, anything. It's a really useful thing to have. So although I'm not wiring it up as of yet, I'm just having it on there in case in the future I decide that's something I need. Then lastly, I have 2 TS outputs. This will be left and right through from my DI box. So although I'll be using the XLR outputs from the DI box, I've got the throughs wired here in case I ever need a TS output. So this is the DISO. It's a line isolator actually, not necessarily a DI box, but you get the idea. 2 stereo input, stereo output through, where you can sum to mono as I said, and then the XLR outputs. This is great for using with modelers because it makes sure that the line is isolated properly and everything is grounded. You've got a ground lift on there in case your venue requires it and whatever. It's just a really nice piece of equipment to have on your board. Full video on this coming soon. So the first thing we have to do is measure this thing out and drill out the holes for the locking jacks. These are about 1 inch in diameter. I've got a drill bit to do that. And by the way, everything that I'm using in this video is going to be linked in the description in case you're going to build a similar thing for your pedal board. I'll link the locking jacks. I'll link this thing, which I got on Amazon, and anything else that I come across that I found useful. is. So we've got the main power in, USB interfaces for the HX Stomp and Morningstar MC8. Then we've got a 5-volt power output for charging whatever. This one ended up being the headphone output, and now this one's going to be for channel switching on amps or whatever, and then stereo left and right outs. Again, there's going to be a DI box in here eventually, but here's what the board's looking like right now. Guitar comes in right here, then runs through a series of these pedals, not quite in that order. I think the next thing it hits is the pre-routing of the Wampler Terraform, which is a modulation pedal, to the HX Stomp. Comes out of the effects loop of the HX Stomp into a bunch of these, goes back into the return of the Wampler, and then in stereo through these two, delay and reverb. Finally, it hits this little hidden gem. This is a chorus pedal, but it also has some delay modes on it, and this is, sometimes I like to have a delay or a chorus always on, and so this is what that might be for when I'm creating ambient music. There's the powering. Here's the other side of the Patchbay. So yeah, everything that I've used in this build so far is linked in the description, as is the playlist link, which you'll be able to watch all 8 episodes of this build from start to finish if you're into that. And if you're not, I'll see you in the next regular video.